When dealing with sloped ceilings, the necessity of using can light specifically listed for such applications, even when the slope is minimal, depends on several factors. While the cutout size in the ceiling might be consistent regardless of the slope, the internal requirements and potential light diffusion differ significantly. In a low-slope scenario, a baffle, which is an internal component designed to prevent glare, may not be mandatory from a code compliance standpoint. However, the absence of a baffle can lead to direct glare from the bulb, affecting the overall lighting quality and visual comfort within the space. To mitigate potential glare issues, it is important to carefully select the appropriate trim for the can light. The trim is the visible portion of the light fixture that surrounds the bulb and is responsible for directing and diffusing the light. It is essential to ensure that the trim has sufficient room to compress properly against the ceiling surface. Adequate compression creates a tight seal, preventing light leakage and maintaining a clean, professional appearance. Moreover, proper compression helps to secure the trim in place, minimizing vibrations and potential dislodgement over time. The selection of can lights and trims for slope ceilings should also consider the type of bulb being used. Different bulbs emit varying amounts of heat, and it is crucial to choose fixtures that are compatible with the bulb's thermal characteristics. Overheating can damage the fixture and shorten the lifespan of the bulb. When evaluating can lights for slope ceilings, it is important to verify that the fixtures are listed and labeled by a recognized testing laboratory such as Underwriters Laboratories, Intertek, or Canadian Standards Association. Listing and labeling indicate that the fixtures have been tested and meet established safety standards. These standards address electrical safety, fire resistance, and other critical performance criteria. Compliance with these standards helps to ensure that the fixtures are safe to install and operate, protecting against potential hazards such as electrical shock, fire, and material degradation. Beyond the absence of a baffle, other considerations arise when dealing with low-sloped ceilings. Firstly, consider the angle of the slope itself. While a very low slope might seem negligible, even a slight incline can alter the direction of the light output. This can lead to uneven illumination and shadows that are not aesthetically pleasing. To compensate for this, adjustable trims or gimbal trims can be used. These trims allow you to aim the light in a specific direction, ensuring that the light is distributed evenly across the room. Secondly, the type of room where the lighting is being installed should influence the choice of fixture. For example, in a living room or bedroom, a softer, more diffuse light might be preferred. This can be achieved by using a trim with a lens or diffuser. In a kitchen or workspace, a brighter, more focused light might be necessary. This can be achieved by using a trim with a reflector. Thirdly, the color of the ceiling can also affect the lighting. A dark ceiling will absorb more light than a light ceiling, so a brighter bulb or more fixtures might be needed to achieve the desired level of illumination. Fourthly, consider the overall design of the room. The lighting should complement the architecture and decor. For example, in a modern room, sleek, minimalist fixtures might be appropriate. In a traditional room, more ornate fixtures might be a better choice. Fifthly, the height of the ceiling should also be taken into account. In a room with a low ceiling, recessed lighting can help to create a sense of spaciousness. In a room with a high ceiling, pendant lights or chandeliers might be more appropriate. Sixthly, the energy efficiency of the lighting should also be considered. LED bulbs are much more energy efficient than incandescent bulbs, and they also last much longer. Choosing LED fixtures can save money on energy bills and reduce the need for bulb replacements. Seventhly, the cost of the fixture should be considered. Recessed lighting can be more expensive than other types of lighting, so it is important to set a budget before starting the project. Eighthly, the ease of installation should also be considered. Some recessed lighting fixtures are easier to install than others. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, it is best to hire a qualified electrician to install the fixtures. Ninthly, the maintenance requirements of the fixtures should also be considered. Some recessed lighting fixtures require more maintenance than others. For example, some fixtures may need to be cleaned more often to prevent dust from accumulating and reducing the light output. Lastly, consider the future needs of the space. Will the lighting need to be adjusted in the future to accommodate changes in the room's use or decor? Choosing fixtures that are easy to adjust or replace can make it easier to adapt the lighting to changing needs. In summary, whether or not you need to use cans listed for a slope ceiling, even with a low slope, depends on a combination of factors. Always prioritize safety by ensuring that the fixtures are listed and labeled by a recognized testing laboratory. Consider the potential for glare, and choose trims and bulbs that will provide the desired level of illumination and visual comfort. Account for the slope angle and its impact on light distribution, and select adjustable or gimbal trims if necessary. Evaluate the room type, ceiling color, overall design, ceiling height, energy efficiency, cost, ease of installation, maintenance requirements, and future needs of the space to make informed decisions about your lighting choices. Additionally, always consult local building codes and regulations to ensure compliance with all applicable requirements. Remember that proper lighting design enhances the functionality and aesthetics of a space, improving its overall appeal and usability. By carefully considering all of these factors, you can create a lighting system that is both safe and effective. Now let's dive deeper into the technical aspects. Consider the National Electrical Code, or NEC, which provides guidelines for safe electrical installations. While the NEC does not explicitly mandate the use of slope-rated cans in all low-slope scenarios, it emphasizes the importance of installing electrical equipment in accordance with its listing and labeling. This means that if the can light manufacturer specifies that the fixture is suitable for slope ceilings, then it should be installed accordingly. Moreover, the NEC requires that all electrical connections be made in approved enclosures. Can lights typically serve as these enclosures, protecting the wiring from physical damage and preventing the spread of fire. When installing can lights in slope ceilings, it is crucial to ensure that the fixtures are securely mounted and that all wiring connections are properly made and insulated. The NEC also addresses the issue of thermal protection in recessed lighting fixtures. Many can lights are equipped with thermal protectors that automatically shut off the power if the fixture overheats. This is a safety feature designed to prevent fires. When selecting can lights for slope ceilings, it is important to choose fixtures that have thermal protection and that are rated for the type of insulation being used in the ceiling. Insulation can trap heat, potentially causing the fixture to overheat. To prevent this, use insulation contact or IC rated fixtures, which are designed to be in direct contact with insulation. Also, consider the voltage and amperage requirements of the can lights. Most residential can lights operate at 120 volts alternating current. The amperage rating of the fixture indicates the amount of current it draws. It is important to ensure that the circuit breaker protecting the circuit is sized appropriately to handle the total current draw of all the can lights in the circuit. For example, if you have 10 can lights, each drawing 1 amp, then the total current draw would be 10 amps. In this case, a 15 amp or 20 amp circuit breaker would be sufficient. Always consult the NEC for specific requirements regarding circuit breaker sizing. Additionally, consider the wire gauge used for the wiring connections. The wire gauge indicates the thickness of the wire. Thicker wires can carry more current than thinner wires. It is important to use the correct wire gauge for the amperage rating of the circuit. The NEC provides tables that specify the minimum wire gauge required for different amperage ratings. For example, for a 15 amp circuit, 14 gauge wire is typically sufficient. For a 20 amp circuit, 12 gauge wire is required. When making wiring connections, use approved wiring connectors. Wire connectors provide a secure and reliable connection between the wires, preventing them from coming loose or shorting out. There are different types of wire connectors available, such as wire nuts, push-in connectors, and terminal blocks. Choose the type of connector that is appropriate for the application and that is listed and labeled by a recognized testing laboratory. Furthermore, when working with electricity, always follow safe work practices. Firstly, turn off the power to the circuit before working on any wiring connections. Secondly, use insulated tools to prevent electrical shock. Thirdly, wear safety glasses to protect your eyes from debris. Fourthly, never work alone. Always have someone nearby in case of an emergency. Fifthly, if you are not comfortable working with electricity, hire a qualified electrician to do the work. Electrical work can be dangerous, and it is important to take all necessary precautions to prevent accidents. In addition to the NEC, local building codes may also have specific requirements for light installations. Check with your local building department to determine if there are any additional requirements that apply to your project. Building codes are designed to ensure the safety and welfare of the public, and it is important to comply with all applicable codes. Now let's delve into the practical aspects of installing lights and slope ceilings. Firstly, carefully plan the layout of the lights. Consider the size and shape of the room, the location of furniture, and the desired level of illumination. Use a tape measure and level to mark the locations of the lights on the ceiling. Secondly, cut the holes for the lights. Use a hole saw or drywall saw to cut the holes. Make sure the holes are the correct size for the lights being used. Thirdly, install the lights. Follow the manufacturer's instructions for installing the lights. Make sure the fixtures are securely mounted and that all wiring connections are properly made. Fourthly, install the trim. Snap the trim into place. Make sure the trim is flush with the ceiling and that there are no gaps. Fifthly, test the lights. Turn on the power to the circuit and test the lights. Make sure all the lights are working properly. If any of the lights are not working, check the wiring connections and the bulb. In summary, installing lights and slope ceilings requires careful planning, attention to detail, and adherence to safety regulations. By following the guidelines and recommendations outlined above, you can ensure that your light installation is safe, effective, and aesthetically pleasing.